A very good evening and a warm welcome to all our viewers to an instructive discussion. Future of Mixed Use Development. Knowledge partner for today's session is Jaquar, Complete Bathroom and Lighting Solutions. Role of touchless technology in integrated townships in their infrastructure? How do you think COVID-19 will reset the Indian real estate sector? Cultural impact on Indian society in mixed use developments. Let us gain more insight from our eminent panel with rich experience from the design industry. Joining us today for this interactive session are Mr. MOHIT HAJELA, who is the moderator for today's session, Mr. Boman Irani, Chairman and Managing Director, Rustomjee Group, Mr. Harleen Oberoi, Senior VP Head Project Management, Tata Realty, Mr. Parvez Amin, President, Sales and Marketing, Jaquar, Ms. Charu Thapar, Executive Director, PAM Asia Pacific, JLL, Architect Sandeep Sikri, President and CEO, SSA Architects, Architect Vivek Boley, Principal Architect, Neo Modern Architects. I hope we have a very informative session. Before we start the panel discussion, we will play a short AV and thereafter, Mohit sir will be taking the lead. Thank you.
Good evening, viewers. On behalf of Jaquar Group and IDAC, I am Mohit HAJELA, your host for the webinar today, titled Future of Mixed-Use Development. And it's my esteemed pleasure to welcome all of you. Howard School of Design defines mixed use as at least two users in one building, where no component takes more than 60% of the overall space. It could thus be any combination of residential, hospitality, office, retail, and social space. The fundamental idea being the complementary nature of symbiotic relationship of coexisting asset classes. Along with bringing about an amalgamation of features, these projects also foster amenity-driven premium homes or offices within walkable neighborhoods that might comprise of restaurants, hospitality, and other social spaces. Mixed-use developments made a humble beginning in colonial Europe, but have now become an indivisible part of suburban area in major cities across the world. Especially in India, encouragement from the government as well as financial viability of mixed land use projects due to their diversified risks have made the model extremely popular among real estate developers. The benefits are plenty indeed. Research shows that not just next gen, the older generation also prefers living in neighborhoods within close proximity of lifestyle needs, a requirement which mixed-use development cater to with ease. Another survey points out that smart growth drivers like these cut down on infrastructure and public service delivery costs while generating substantial tax revenue. Mixed-use developments also allow investors to balance a purely performing asset with a successful one, thus softening the impact on the total investment portfolio. Besides all these, a project like this in India has one huge advantage. Multiple users in single space reduces the need to commute, taking care of big concern of urban Indians. Needless to say, mixed-use projects, however, require careful and detailed planning on all aspects of construction, given their enormous scope, scale, and variety of use. Be it appropriate distribution and delimitation of parking spaces, noise reduction between structures through the use of soundproofing, landscaping, optimal use of open spaces, ease of access or connectivity from multiple modes of transport. All these factors are not just critical, they also need to be seamlessly integrated in order to form a certain kind of sustainable microcity that will attract prospective buyers, especially since different residents here will have different expectations from the same space. Multi-use projects have been seen defining the trend in bustling cities across the globe, be it London, New York, San Francisco, for quite a decade now. In India, though, the trend is in its nascent stages. As India turns progressively more urban, with land density increasing at a tremendous pace, mixed-use projects such as these will provide the roadmap for efficient, community-friendly, and a sustainable real estate development in future. On this note, I begin the session today, viewers, and joining me is a very illustrious panel of experts and thought leaders coming as top realtors, real estate advisory and consultant, prolific architects, and a business head from the corporate world. To briefly share their experience, the first panelist is Mr. Boman Irani, who is the chairman of Rustomjee. Believe me, to this fraternity and this group of viewers, Boman needs no introduction. He is an entrepreneur, having set up businesses in real estate, education, and automobiles. He is the first generation real estate developer and a chairman and managing director of Rustomjee Group. He has over 24 years of experience and knowledge of the Indian real estate industry. Rustomjee Group is a sought after and respected real estate company in Mumbai metropolitan region with a sound record of sustained growth, customer satisfaction, and innovation. It has built this distinction in a very, very short period of time, and the group has a development portfolio that includes 16.6 million square feet of completed projects, 10.9 million square feet of ongoing development, with another 22 million square feet of planned development in the pipeline, squaring across locations in Mumbai metropolitan region. But what is more interesting, I'm sure this group knows about Boman very well, but I think something which my viewers are going to find very interesting is that Boman is co-founder of Classic Legends Private Limited along with Anand Mahindra and Anupam Thareja. Java and Yazdi motorcycles, I'm sure this will strike a name with you, strike a chord with you, were a part of Boman's family business. He has a deep emotional connect with the brands and has been instrumental in designing and conceptualizing the launch of the brand and bringing the legacy of Java back to life. The bikes have received a grand reception from the Indian community, making Java the most Google search motorcycle brand in India in 2018. The company will soon be launching other brands internationally. Further, Boman is the founder and trustee of Rustomjee's education initiative, having set up institutes in various spheres from preschool to post-graduation and vocational training institutes. Just to share that the total capacity of these institutes put together is almost close to 12,000 students. Indeed, a pleasure having you, Boman, on board.
Those were lots of very kind words. Thank you.
Our next panelist is Ms. Charu Thapar. Charu is Executive Director with Property and Asset Management, Asia Pacific, and she is the Head of Strategy, Platform, and Emerging Markets for India, Indonesia, Thailand, Vietnam, and Philippines. Charu is a senior industry veteran again with over 25 years of experience in real estate, of which 17 years has been in the field of asset and property management. Prior to JLL, Charu worked with Cushman & Wakefield, where she was the Managing Director, Asset Services Client Solutions, APAC, with exposure to establishing, consolidating, and implementing best practices in China. While working directly with APAC CEO Albert Ovidi, Charu mentors key emerging markets to provide delivery solutions to clients, promote technology, increase market presence in PropTech space, strengthening cross-border collaborations, enhance services around human experience such as customer experiences and flexible workspaces, collaborate with local and regional teams to design commercially viable urban ecosystem models, and foster stronger partnership with clients to further provide efficiencies and quality services. Charu further shepherds JLL and DI initiatives firm-wide and championing CSR for India. Beyond that, to her accreditation, she is a leading global client solutions professional. She's been awarded in 2006. She has been conferred with C&W honors in 2007, and she has been the champion of facility management Clean India Awards 2020. Indeed, a pleasure having you on board, Charu. Looking forward to a wonderful discussion today. Our next panelist today is Mr. Harleen Oberoi. Harleen is Senior Vice President and Head Project Management, Tata Realty. With over 30 years of experience in project management and construction across projects in India and overseas market, Mr. Harleen Oberoi is ex-Senior Executive Director, Project Management, Colliers International India. He has been Executive Director, Brookfield Global Integrated Solutions. He has been Executive Director, Cushman and Wakefield India, and has been involved into setting up project management business of AECOM in India. He also holds a project post-graduation degree in construction management from NICMAR and an undergrad civil engineering degree from NIT Kurukshetra. What a pleasure having you, Harleen, on board. Thanks for joining in. Now, moving from realtors and advisory, I move to the fraternity of designers. And I have two very illustrious designers on board. I have with me architect Vivek Boley, who again in this fraternity of construction industry needs no introduction. He is the CMD of Neo Modern Architects. Vivek, the principal architect, heads a multidisciplinary practice with a staff of over 200 professionals across 3 offices in India. He has successfully completed more than 800 projects and is working on around 500 ongoing projects in India and overseas. Vivek has further won numerous prestigious design competitions and earned more than 60 national and international awards. His portfolio includes a wide variety of colossal projects. He is known for his innovative ways of integrating various softwares. Definitely, this is something I'll like to highlight, that Vivek is quite prolific in his innovative ways of integrating various softwares to achieve a unique presentation style, parametric, geometrics, and sustainability in his signature projects. What a pleasure having you on board, Vivek. Thank you for joining in. Following it is architect Sandeep Sikri. Sandeep is President and CEO of SSA Architects. He is a USGBC lead accredited professional, the founding member of IGBC and chairman of IGBC Mumbai chapter. At SSA, he heads a team of 250 plus committed professionals with a diverse portfolio with the integration of architecture, interior design, and construction management services under one roof is what makes Sandeep Sikri Associates stand tall and apart, making team very diverse and unique. His firm specializes in urban renewal, high-rise projects, and providing solutions that are environmentally sustainable. Sandeep Sikri Associates is the proud recipient of various international awards. Recently, SSA has been bestowed with the honor and privilege of being the finalist at the World Architectural Festival 2019 for their residential project, Atharva. Sandeep believes his design philosophy is that architecture is a comprehensive approach which combines the hard skills of design and the soft skills of human connection and experience. In a nutshell, it's all about space, people, and happiness. Sandeep, I like this word, space, people, and happiness. Brilliant. What a pleasure to have you. And needless to say, your work speaks for itself. And the final panelist with us is Mr. Parvez Amin, who is President Sales and Marketing with Jaquar Group, again an industry veteran with over 35 years of diverse experience ranging from over-the-counter products, consumer durables, and building materials. Parvez has worked with blue chip Indian companies, US MNC, as well as family-owned industry leaders in the field of building materials. He has launched new businesses in almost all categories with 100% success, and he's an expert in scaling up businesses in very, very short period with an overall experience that has helped him experience of handling and launching brands in luxury, premium, and affordable segments. Further, he has been involved with the way we're developing OEMs in India and overseas with a strong knowledge of Indian markets at the grassroots level. Absolutely a pleasure to have all the top panelists today. And
Thank you.
as I conclude this, I would like to begin round one viewers. And my first question goes to Ms. Charu Thapar. Charu, I'd like to get you to center stage. What is the core need of a mixed-use building? Is it a financial asset, a glamour statement, or a need for society? Further, how sustainable is this model when viewed from the perspective of various stakeholders involved? Charu.
So Mohit, you gave a brilliant introduction to the benefits of mixed-use developments, and I'm going to build a little bit on that. So mixed-use developments are really gaining favor globally as vehicles to maximize investment returns while diversifying the risk. The inclusion of multiple asset classes provides a strong narrative that the developments can meet the broad needs of the community as places to live, work, and play. Mixed-use assets can provide greater space utilization and thus investment returns given they can be booked upon favorably from a planning perspective. The ability to maximize the development footprint seems to be enhanced given the multiple asset classes and space types and the uses which can be provided. Even more so if affordable housing can somehow be integrated into the mixed-use development. It is then a more sustainable model by virtue of diversification of risk. Developers, investors need not be solely exposed to a single asset class, i.e. office or residential, with risk aversion delivered if uses such as retail, residential, hospitality, logistics, etc. can be included into such a development. I'll give you an example of UK where mixed use developments are quite prolific. Mixed use in UK is now embedded in all sort of urban regeneration schemes. Office, retail, and residential are really the core components. Residential is a blend of private and affordable. The affordable schemes integrate with wider urban communities if there's diversification of inhabitants and not just the luxury apartment blend. Internationally, there's a growing expectation in mixed use to be more creative in the thinking behind the blend of the uses. So, components such as health, well-being, education, leisure are also gaining favorability in such a development. It also creates a wider sense of place and a more attractive working and living environment. For private developers and investors, of course, it's always about financial objectives. But what can be better if the development also perceived to address a community need so that developments create a greater social value? Hence, I think mixed use is a compelling asset class and gaining popularity globally. Thanks, Mohit.
Thank you, Charu. I mean, this was definitely insightful. I'd like to bring on center stage Mr. Boman Irani. Boman, do you think, as a nation, we have succeeded in developing an ecosystem similar to Western world for a mixed-use development, which is not only self-sustaining and futuristic, but holding equal conformance to a larger conceived master plan in terms of facility planning, inclusiveness, and a holistic approach towards urban development?
Let me tell you, Mohit, first of all, Charu, you put it very, very well, the needs for mixed-use development. I think India has the advantage of cities like Mumbai, which were developed 150 odd years back, where mixed use was the order of the day. So even if today you walk in the old areas of Flora Fountain, you will see the kind of development that was there. You know, ground floor used to always be retail, and then they had offices on certain blocks, and then you had residential above that. So this was like a standard given. After that, what we saw was the master plan of cities take place. I can talk about Mumbai again, where mixed developments, at least in the city of Mumbai, were not allowed anymore for whatever reasons at that point of time. And with time, trends keep changing. We saw a lot of architects. You know, I can see Sandeep over here. He's done one of the largest mixed-use developments in a high-rise in Mumbai, if I'm not mistaken, or even in Asia, I'm told. and Vivek, etc., coming across with their own concepts of mixed-use development. And I think, given the architectural advances that have taken place, it's become easier and more, how do I say this, a better thing to do today to have a mixed-use development, even in a single structure as we see it. Now, if you look at Nariman Point, which was developed fairly recently in Mumbai's history, we've got an entire block that is only commercial. You pass by those streets at night, they're literally dead. Now, imagine Cuff Parade and Nariman Point actually being infused into each other, where there were certain residential buildings, certain commercial buildings. What you would have seen is a part of the city that would never, let's say, sleep or would be awake for a very long period of time, thereby leading to a better use of infrastructure rather than what at that point of time was thought of by people. When we started developing Urbania in Thane, this is the first thing we had in mind. We had a 127-acre landscape. And what Rustomjee decided was we'd promote something called a walk to work. And so we built a school right there. We built certain office blocks right there. We built retail right there. And we built residential in that layout. And then we had open spaces available, which we made community open spaces. And I can tell you over here, a very good example is New York. If you go to New York, in Mumbai, we have this 15% RG, which is a space that you keep in a development, but we always put that inward, right? We're always putting it inside. So only that particular development gets the benefit of it. I think New York, when you walk around on these larger avenues, you see all these gardens or all these RG spaces or all these breakout spaces becoming a part where the city can really benefit out of it. Another good point, to really kind of bring back home. Now, I would not know about the infrastructure largely, but I always believe in India, we are fairly at the advanced, part of the curve. It is up to us to keep on developing better, bringing in more and more ideas. We have the advantage of seeing cities around the world that have developed. We have the advantage of moving closer home to Dubai or to Singapore and picking up the good from there. No city comes with only, the good or the bad. Everything has a little bit of life in it. Again, Nariman Point, we forgot to build what's called the army's march on their stomachs, but we didn't build enough restaurant spaces. So what did we have? All those feriwalas, thelas as they call them, they used to come and put up their thelas out there in the afternoon. When we developed BKC, we still didn't do it. We built some very high-end hotels out there. We built some very good healthcare facility out there. We built some fantastic offices. Now they are allowing residential also in terms of parts out there, but they still haven't put enough of the idli sambar joints out there. An army marches on its stomach. You need to go ahead and understand all these things. And I think with, talks like this, hopefully sometime soon in the future and with good developers and great architects to back them, we will see more and more of this, Mohit.
Surely look forward to. Thank you, Boman. Very, very comprehensive. As always, very, thanks. Drawing Harleen, trying to get you into conversation. How do you envisage the role of touchless technology in integrated townships and their infrastructure? Harleen.
Right, so as I was saying, this topic really excites me because this is there on my desk now with my designers and engineer friend. And this has been there, touchless solution have been there in the industry. And you would have noticed those initial days of, having touchless taps and faucets and hospitalities, some of which made by your company and otherwise. And they have been there. But what pressed the button or, accelerated the whole scenario was COVID. Now, with COVID striking, there was immediate need to, make the experience of a person entering a business center or a campus totally seamless and touchless. And that's what is exactly on the agenda now. So all of our business parks, for that matter, we have really gone back to the design stages, trying to implement. So the moment a person steps into a business park, right from putting up thermal cameras in the lift lobbies, scanning him for, his body temperature and whatnot. Similarly, having a touchless elevator management system. And then again, taking care of that, not many people are required. So even, the handrails for the escalators treated with UV, again, giving a touchless service out there. And then when, obviously when he's once in office and he uses his washroom, So touchless solutions for dispensers and taps, etc. and all. So, you know, and also integrating all of this, there has been a challenge. So all platforms available, be it Bluetooth or RFIDs or, you know, infras. Now, these are some things which we are trying to, you know, check or test by, you know, hardwares and get that seamless, you know, touch-free solution to the end user. This is the need now. So in fact, you will be, you know, the kind of technology or automation we are looking at is when you enter a campus, there's an app which really, you know, gives you, that app is your visitor card or an identity card or an access card, whatever you name it. And, you know, right in front of, sometimes standing in front of elevator also, the motion sensors detect which way your travel destinations are and takes you there. So there's a hard compelling reason, and which have accelerated this whole need of, you know, providing touchless solutions. And we being, you know, trendsetter in the industry, so all our business parks, we are really, you know, started re-looking at them and, you know, taking it up to this level of expectation.
Thank you so much, Harleen. I mean, needless to say, I can't agree more that in the given situation, I mean, now we have come to a situation where we have started analyzing that before COVID, during COVID, and post-COVID. So I mean, it's typically a scenario wherein all said and done, the end user is still scared, and I'm sure with so much of technology interface and looking at touch-free, you know, interface happening now, I'm sure this is going to be definitely encouraging to the end users to reapproach mixed-use developments. Let the scare not be there. I'm sure things are going to look up. Thank you so much, Harleen. I would like to now draw to line. Thank you so much. And I'd like to get now to have the designers into perspective. And I have a very prolific designer, Sandeep Sikri, who's done some of the very, very fine mixed-use developments and then around in the country and overseas. Sandeep, bringing you into the discussion, what were your design considerations and influences when planning the much appreciated Kohinoor Square to deliver not only on efficiency, but balancing diverse spaces, residential, commercial, hospitality, and functional retail? Do you see more of such developments in time to come? And I think it would be nice if there can be a small presentation that, you know, if you could present, I'm sure that will add a lot of value to our viewers today. Sandeep.
Yes. Just to take it ahead from what Charu, Boman, and Mr. Harleen said, you know, mixed use from a designer's lenses, the secret sauce is how you mix the design program. You know, it's the design program is the winner. If you have to do a successful mixed use complex, like Charu said, either the retail is a hero, or the commercial is a hero, or the residential is a hero. But need of today is to also imbibe affordable housing, see with the change of time what is the need of the community and the society. And mixed use is a very dynamic and a very modular kind of a tool. So I'm just going to share with you a couple of projects in a very brief way, where we could develop one project as a residential as a hero, one project where the commercial as a hero. You know, those were the main anchors, and they could bring all other uses together to resonate the overall performance of the complex. So one is like a area development, it's a precinct, and one is, like Boman said, a single building where it's a mixed use. So just allow me to share my screen.
Surely.
Yeah, so I'm just going to share you two projects. This is Kohinoor City, which is at Kurla. Those who know about Mumbai, the Kurla is a place where, you know, it was known earlier. If you ask anybody to go there, everybody will say no, because, you know, it was a scrap market. It was an automobile repair kind of shops. It has got all kinds of things, which was totally industrial area, you know, and for past maybe 3-4 decades, there was not a single square foot of a proper residential community living there. But our client, you know, they purchased this premier automobile land there, which was right in the center of Kurla, which was 42 acres. And that particular land had a lot of challenges. You know, we had almost 700 odd beautiful trees, no water supply, no electrical supply, no sewage disposal. It was very flood-prone zone and quite challenging in terms of doing any development there. But topographically and geographically, it was a very, very well located kind of a location. So we said to make this particular project successful, we need to have a kind of a design program that will have a complementing to each other. So this is a kind of a plot shape and size that I got. And I said, let's develop a kind of a complex where people will have everything within the complex, because in earlier times, even to get the toothpaste, you have to go at least 2 kilometers away. So we developed this master plan where it has almost 1,100 apartments. It has a convenient shopping and a required retail. It's not a mall. There are nice offices, which are for the mid-size SMEs. Then we have a build-to-suit offices where National Stock Exchange took a data center there. American School Bombay came there. There's a nice 100-key budget hotel. And there's a full-fledged education complex where you have a primary, secondary, and a school up to 10 standard with engineering college and a management school. Also, there's a healthcare, which is a multi-specialty healthcare. And of course, there's an entertainment and a leisurely areas also there. I had to build a power station there because there was no LT power which was available in this area. So overall, if you look at the snapshot of the entire Kohinoor city, it is a 4 million square foot of a development, which happened over a period of 8 years. But now there are 1,200 families are living very happily because they have everything within their pedestrianized approach. They have a school, they have a entertainment, they have a healthcare. They also have a nice facility for the playground, swimming pool, clubhouse, etc. So of course, all of these are environmentally sustainable. So the whole township is a LEED Gold. Each of the building is also LEED Gold. And in fact, the hospital is LEED Platinum. So when I go there and when I meet the people there, I see a lot of happiness because all of them are, even in this pandemic situation, have that kind of a proximity to each of the needs, where this is not a very high-end housing. It's a very humble middle income group kind of a housing, but people are happy. The developer had started the price at 2,000 rupees a square foot in 2007. Today, they have reached 10 times of that. That itself kind of gives you an idea as to how the mixed-use development can become successful. So you see a lifestyle there. You can stay, work, learn, heal, indulge, shop, play. Everything is within the compound, So that is actually made it very self-sustainable neighborhood. And that's the beauty of the entire complex. So now the complex is complete. And I feel that Kurla was never a destination as a suburb, to go there to stay. But out of these kind of developments, now Market City has come to Kurla. There's Agastya Corporate Complex has come to Kurla. And now one more suburb has been created for the city. So I feel a developer and architect and planners, when they come together, do something which is a kind of a landmark destination, it also helps the city. Next project, Kohinoor Square, a totally different background. This is a mill land right in the heart of the city, beautiful spot. You have a absolutely uninterrupted panoramic view on an ocean, which is a kind of a lifetime guaranteed view. Little challenging shape of the site, but it's very, very well placed with roads on all 4 sides. So client and me, we thought that there is a lot of residential neighborhood around this. Why not create an iconic commercial mixed-use building? Because we have a mixed-use buildings in Bandra Kurla complex, then we have some buildings in G South Ward, but then you have to go straight till the town center in the Fort area. So let's create something that will also become a landmark. And for those offices, they also have a craving for a premium view. We create that. So the whole design program is like this. We have around 2,000 car parking, and all of these 2,000 car parking are conventional. It's not mechanical or a puzzle car parking. So out of which 100 car parking has been given back to a community as a public car parking. This is first project of a public car parking. And we've got altogether 4 FSI. So that FSI is very nicely distributed into a commercial. As I said, the commercial is a hero. It's 1 million square foot of a premium commercial space with a retail and a luxury hotel and a clubhouse on the top of the central building with the heliport. And there's a small residential block, which is next to it. So if you'll see, there is really a work, leave, rejuvenate, everything again within the complex, pedestrianized distance. And this is something which is catching up very slowly and nicely over there. So that's the overall view of the building, where this is probably one of the tall mixed-use building, which also gives a lot of sense of pride to the Dadar and Mahim residents. It also becomes a kind of a iconic status over there. That's how you see it when you come from the North Mumbai and when you go to a South Mumbai. So I'm very glad that we could top up the building. It had gone through some struggles, but now the building is fully complete and it looks pretty nice. So when you do such large, complex, high-rise, high-density, you need to be careful about everything. Like Mr. Harleen said, you have a special app on RFID reader. When you come, there is unmanned security. The turnstile automatically opens. It profiles you that this gentleman is going on a 42nd floor. By the time you go to the lift has come down, go on a 42nd floor, your office door is open. It's just like a James Bond. A complete transit management systems are there. We have almost 60 cars can be parked here in a peak time analysis. On a ground floor, we have a buzzing kind of activities because there's almost a footfall of 8,000 employees. So on a Friday evening, they don't have to go to any other place. They have a pub, they have a bar, they have a Joel Robo Shop, they have a Hide Yamamoto, a signature master chefs coming in there, also a West Side and a Starbucks coffee. So it kind of helps each other and every business becomes kind of complementing to each other. This is a lobby where we have 20 meters of a height. So everywhere we have provided a fast vertical transmission. So the escalators takes you to the upper floors because there has to be a smooth movement. Another snapshot of a lobby. It can accommodate peak time analysis. Some study tours have been taking place over there. That's a coffee shop, which you see it over there. Then we have a small offices, because we saw for a small offices who wants a premium area, there's nothing available. So we created up to 13th floor, something called chambers. They are for architects, lawyers, chartered accountants, and small houses, but they want a place in a premium premises. So these are the chambers. Then we have a large offices. These offices have been done with a lot of care. There's no column, there's no beam, floor to ceiling height glass. So you feel absolutely you're floating into air, looking at the panoramic view on all four sides of yours. There's a luxury hotel coming on upper 4 floors, only 48 suites. And of course, we have created a beautiful rooftop, which will be a good addition to Mumbai. Besides, we have air, we have Asilo. This is also a very well thought 360-degree view of Mumbai. You see a Bombay Port Trust on east side, you see a ocean on west side. So this rooftop is also going to be a good addition to the city. Some of the snapshots, once it will complete, what you see on the right-hand side is a residential block. So it actually gives you a different kind of aesthetically appealing looks because the glass has a special articulation. It shimmers like a diamond. Then we have a residences, very few apartments over there, only 80 apartments. These residences also have a deck which overlooks the ocean on the south side and also on the north side. We've got a clubhouse which is there on a parking garage. This is on a 14th floor, so it has that kind of a privacy, that kind of a nice view all around you. That's a view of a infinity pool, and it's quite private because there is no building is likely to come up that tall in that particular area. So a full-fledged clubhouse to the extent of 25,000 square foot with sports, chambers, work from home facility. So it's quite agile in its own nature and also complementing the kind of work and stay together. So this is where we are also sustainable. It's aiming for IGBC gold rating. And these are some of the snapshots. There's a helipad on top. So once we get an aviation permission, the helicopters will also will be flying on this particular premises. That's a view. And that's how it will look from a Worli Link Road. So it's an attempt to redefine the Mumbai skyline. So the mixed-use development also complements city from its iconic status symbol. That's it from me, Mohit.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sandeep. This is so insightful. And you have taken my punchline that, you're actually this is a contribution which is trying to redefine Mumbai skyline and definitely a very iconic project. And I'm sure Kohinoor Square will lead to more such iconic developments coming up in India. And this definitely will be a benchmark for a lot of other designers and developers to draw inspiration from and surely look forward to many more. Thank you so much, Sandeep. Now, drawing architect Vivek Boley into conversation. Vivek, how do you achieve sustainability in a diverse project? Do you think there is a growing consciousness in promoting a sustainable ecosystem in mixed-use building? Or is it just reduced to a cosmetic indulgence? Here I've got a bit of a satire added to it, but I want a very, very honest feedback from you. Vivek.
Mohit, I have again got some submission, the presentation to show you, but then
Would love to
your question.
love to see that.
And then say any successful project in mixed-use development can be judged from the economic success for the end users. So that is the value for money for the investment of the end user that makes the project successful. And then I think in another way it is sustainable also, because if the intended purpose of the project, if not served properly, the building will undergo changes or redevelopment, or users will tend to leave the project or the premises. And as Sandeep rightly said, that these kind of developments are mostly on lease model. If they're on the residential side, then certainly not, but for commercial development, they're on mostly on the lease model. So
Surely.
I start one small presentation and then we'll continue on that.
Surely, please.
So these are few of my projects I'm showing you where we implemented mixed-use developments. This is the most popular. We did maybe 10 to 12 of these kind of developments where there is a mall, a retail on the lower floors, and we have got a hotel above. So this is the star category property at Udaipur. And we have got a very small boutique, Radisson Green on top, and then we have got retail below. So it's a successful happening place there, and we did something similar in Aurangabad, Jalna, on the smaller cities, in Nasik. So this is the very basic of any mixed-use development, where the retail and the hotel, they go together. But then it is very, we have to see it very carefully that the B-grade shopping cannot have a 5-star hotel on top of it, and vice versa. Then it will not serve the purpose. Then we did this project in Chennai. This is one of the biggest mall in Chennai. It started as ground plus 3-storied mall, and due to various changes in FSI, we got it converted into mixed-use development. So if you see, this is the plan. It's like 3 lakh square foot of a floor plate, one single floor, and multiplied by now 6 floors. And we have got on one side office building, and on the other side we have got this 240 rooms Shangri-La Traders, and then we have got service apartment on one side, and all the entries and the parkings we could separate because we have got road on all 4 sides. And this is the final picture of that. And we completed this RCC, and we are expecting now to start the finishing part of it. Something similar we started in Udaipur, again retail plus hospitality and offices together. And we have got a few residentials there. We started with the tallest residential tower. Now we have converted this tower into 22 stories. This is one completed project, a very, you can say, successful mixed-use development, 4.5 million square feet in heart of Bhopal, a place called TT Nagar. So we have got 30-meter wide road on one side. The property has got, again, road from all the 4 sides, a 16-acre property, but with the kind of FSI what Madhya Pradesh government offers, it's phenomenal. And then we have got, again, the tallest tower of Bhopal, 22-story premium residential housing, and 2.8 million square feet of total retail and commercial development with 3 lakh square feet, again, a shopping footprint. So we have got 4 floors of shopping, and then this is the kind of mix there. So we have got high-end residential on one side. We have got these 5 residential towers. When we say they are not so high-end, they are still premium housing. So 3-bedroom and 4-bedroom. Bhopal has got some different standard when it comes to premium. And then we have got those 2 big office towers. So we have got these 18-storied office buildings, 7 lakh square foot each block. And then we have got 18-storied 4-star category hotel, and then premium shopping in the front. Now the care what is need to take, is to separate these activities from each other. So if you see, From the front side, we have got this retail happening, high-end retail. On the other side, in the second picture, you can see the residential has got entry from the rear side. And I had to use the slope which is there on the side. So there is 16 meter of slope across the side, even in the shopping frontage. So that shopping is in the steps. And then we took the advantage of that and we could separate all the entries. I always believe that keeping mixed-use development when you have a larger footprint of the plot in single building envelope is actually the misuse of the plot. So here we tried to keep everything separate. And this is how the sloping arrangement was there. So you can see there is 16 meter level difference we could manage in the stepped shopping area. The top of the shopping and the rear side of the podium of the residential towers, they are merged together so that the residents can use that portion of the shopping area. And because we had to use get the maximum benefit out of the greenery, what you see in the rear side. So we have got this zigzag arrangement of the residential building where no apartment is looking into each other. And along with that privacy, you can see even they are getting privacy from the commercial block as well as the retail blocks. And this is how the separate entry on the rear side road for the residential is. The podium top of the retail. They are the residential. These are those two office blocks, 7 lakh square feet each. We completed one block recently, and this is the hotel block. These are the completed pictures of the site. And recently, like these developments, they don't have educational or healthcare. Unless the development is really big, and hardly very few developments are there in city like Mumbai where you will find everything together, an integrated township kind of mixed-use development, what Sandeep could achieve in his Kurla project. So here in this BDD Chawl redevelopment, which is supposed to be the biggest urban renewal scheme in the country right now, we are having retail, hospitality, offices, residential, of course it's a redevelopment project, even educational and healthcare. So this is the layout. So we have got, in fact, arranged everything within the complex, every sector. We have divided into sectors. Every sector is a self-contained block. And we have added all the amenities within that block so that the users, the dwellers get privacy as well as all the amenities within the complex. And then we have got school, hospitals, and other amenity blocks outside. We have got a biggest commercial building coming up in this layout, and that will take care of the need of the total development. These are few more these kind of developments where we started as mall and ended up into commercial building and then eventually into residential developments. And I think that's it with my development. My understanding with this mixed use is you have to actually see the check the potential of the plot, the location, demand and supply is very, very important, and then come up with a formula where the partnership of individual elements, like which are the right partners. Commercial can be good partner with retail, with hotel, but if you do a combination of like hotel and residential, it's not going to work out, because you know the residential tenants or the users, they are permanent, they are on long term, so they will be more demanding. So this kind of arrangement you have to make right in the beginning, and then you can make really successful projects out of developments.
Absolutely. Thank you, Vivek, so much. Thank you so much. I'm sure, yes, this is very important that it's very important that how we are able to, in mixed use development, we are able to define a character where at the end of the day, the end user, when he's engaging with the development, he is comfortable, and the two setup entities, they tend to resonate with each other. Thank you, Vivek. Thank you so much. Now, I think it's time to draw in an industry expert. And I would like to draw in Mr. Parvez Amin from Jaquar Group. Parvez, I mean, one gets to understand that Jaquar has been pioneers. I mean, truly a global Indian multinational, and being innovators into design solution. How is Jaquar Group approaching sensor-led applications to mixed-use development? And how do you think end customer engagements have evolved during pandemic? And further, where do you feel retrofit solutions will serve the need of a nation extending beyond metros? And finally, are the brand India sensibilities coming alive? Mr. Parvez, Amin.
Thanks, Mohit. Jaguar has been the pioneers in getting sensor taps in India. Way back, 15 years back, that's when we launched the sensor taps. And it has been restricted to only public spaces till the pandemic hit us. Post the pandemic, the whole view on sensor products has changed dramatically and has pushed manufacturers into innovating and scaling up their manufacturing to address the demand. While sensor products were predominantly for water saving, now it's become a hybrid product of sorts, where it addresses both hygiene as well as water saving. So having said that, fortunately our lighting factory has developed phenomenal kits now, sensor kits, with which we can scale up to any level of demand which is there in India. Also, it's of robust quality because we understand the Indian conditions, the usage conditions. To that extent, we are ready now. We can have the full-blown production starting sometime in September, both in lighting as well as plumbing space. At the same time, we also needed to give solution to customers who already had the regular taps. So we have come out with a fantastic solution, retrofit foot-operated and elbow-operated taps, which are there in the market right away, where a customer need not do any civil work. A very minimum plumbing, that all external, and the tap is ready to go. It's received very well, and we have huge demand from all sort of things. And this opened up the entire sensor market has opened up beyond public spaces to schools, to hospitality, to even residential now. People are definitely thinking about putting sensor taps, at least in the powder room or maybe in the guest room or something like that. Made in India helps. Yes, made in India helps. But I always believe only made in India will not take a brand too far. It has to be of global standards. Only then it resonates with the customers. And I feel this is where Jaguar is well placed. So this is the story about Jaguar and the sensor.
Surely. Thank you so much, Mr. Amin. I mean, needless to say, the sensor technology is there to stay. And somewhere down the line, people need to be more, they need to be encouraged to come out. They need to feel more confident once they're approaching commercial public spaces. And needless to say, the digital interface is going to make it a reality. And in the new normal, yes, this is sensor-led technology is the way forward. Thank you so much. With this, viewers, we come to the end of round one. And as I begin round two, I would like to again bring Ms. Charu Thapar on center stage. Charu, how do you think COVID-19 will reset the Indian real estate sector? The sector which was already struggling to re-emerge from the past turbulence of structural changes, policy reforms, and the liquidity crisis is now witnessing another major fallout. Charu, how do you think that COVID-19 is going to will reset the Indian real estate sector?
So Mohit, I'm going to split this question into two parts. One is what we have heard, and all of us have heard, and what I believe, right? So what we have heard really is, from investors who are hoping for a V-shaped recovery. From analysts, we hear they are predicting a U-shaped recovery as all households and companies spend less and save more, leading to an investment slump, an anemic sort of recovery. Adding to this is the burden of high debt levels, which are getting tougher to service. And then the naysayers, they are predicting an L, a Great Depression in the mid-decade, etc. So really, almost like a doomsday sort of prophecy, the deadly Ds of debt, deficit, deglobalization, disruption, and disease, right? What I think. Personally, I think anything we say is speculation, purely speculation, as until the situation ends, I don't think anyone can assess the impact truly, right? But what I can share is some, positive feelers. So for example, JLL conducted a research spanning about 1,500 people from 5 countries across the region to get what the sentiment really is, what is going to happen to the much talked about office market in real estate. And, to judge this sentiment on remote working experience that COVID-19 has imposed on a staggering number of employees, right? And, here is the feedback we got, and which compels me to believe that there is positivity. So the top 3 reasons why people and employees are really eager to re-enter their office space is: 1, they miss the human interaction, the socializing with their colleagues. 2nd, the professional environment, actually provides you with access to everything you need to work, right? And 3rd, collective face-to-face work for collaboration has something to be said about. So in my view, office is clearly not dead. On the contrary, I believe over the longer term, the office will remain a fundamental part of our corporate culture, will play an essential role in our work and productivity as psychological contracts are getting reset with employees. I think what will happen following the pandemic is the flexibility to work from home will be seamlessly integrated into a working lifestyle, benefiting both employees and employers alike. Office space will continue to evolve. It is far from over, and as a result of this crisis, is arguably going to play an even greater role in driving corporate well-being and productivity. The good thing really is that real estate is tangible. It's not really going to disappear, right? So I'm sure all of you have read about some, brilliant transactions happening, with Blackstone, with Brookfield, etc., in the newspapers. So clearly, investment dollars are available for quality commercial assets and newer asset classes that have emerged, such as data center, logistics, and warehousing. So I'm pretty upbeat about what is going to happen, and I hope that answers your question.
Surely, thank you. And I'm sure, your confidence and the smile says it all. So, we can all be very hopeful that coming from you, that we should all be fine. We are all braving tough situations right now. However, the future is definitely hopeful, and things would definitely look up. And on that promising note, I'm sure time for real estate to see the new dawn, and 2021 definitely will be very, very promising. Thank you so much, Charu. I'd like to get Mr. Boman Irani on center stage. Boman, I was recollecting your conversation with Sadhguru, the most recently convened webinar where you were at the center stage, and I came across some very interesting conversation, and I'd like to recall that and try and integrate that to this question. That Boman, do you think the time has come to relook at real estate models extending beyond metropolitan cities? An improved quality of life, divorce from urban pressures, new age work from home concepts gaining traction, and evolving low density self-sustaining green habitats. Will post-pandemic outlook drive a change, Boman? This was one very interesting conversation I saw you, having with Sadhguru, and I think it will be brilliant for you to throw some light here.
So Mohit, just to tell you, Sadhguru obviously has such a vast expanse of knowledge, and even before the entire interaction, he said, "Do not ask me questions that are basis only the here and now. Let's talk about evolution." So I'll tell you what I think. And Charu, thank you for your views. But we also did a good dipstick on all our consumers, all our residents. And as you know, we have a wide spectrum of them, across the rainbow. We have some very high-end homes, as well as some, what we call the lap of affordable luxury is what we create in Virar and Thane. We did a great dipstick study. And what we realized is the future is going to be different. And like Charu said, I don't know which way it will go. Okay, I'm not sure it will take the office route with a vengeance, or it will take the home route with a vengeance, but it will definitely evolve. And evolution is the only, I mean, change is the only constant, like they say, and evolution kind of follows certain, paths at certain times. COVID has sped up the pace of change. And fortunately for Rustomjee, we were very, we were already on that trend. So we had already started toying with the idea of, moving everybody from physical spaces and putting them, to work from anywhere. What I had realized on one of my recent trips to Goa was that people were working out of small cafes out there, internet cafes out there. They were working out of small little homes that they had taken by the beach. They really wanted to control the lifestyle that they had. They wanted to kind of have the ease of being able to be at work or be at play, or be around in probably what is called the cleanest state of the country at will. And I see that happening. I see people wanting to move to their hometowns, having the flexibility to work from there. Technology has provided all the tools that one needs. I was on some webinars where one or two of our largest IT companies have also mentioned that customers want flexibility. I don't know which way this really will kind of pour out, but I can tell you this: we are ready either which way. So we are providing more spaces. We've always been providing, business centers, spaces for people to work from, close to schools kind of developments, or developments where schools are part of it, healthcare centers are part of it. Just this morning, Times of India featured one of our developments where, a beautiful spa space was converted into a COVID, space for the residents of the buildings. So evolutionary spaces like this, we are creating more and more. Even in the homes, what we've done is, where all our developments are creating these little nooks, which would allow people to work or study from home. I think parents are very paranoid about kids going to school. And I think the best way a kid can learn is actually to be amongst other kids. I don't know how much of that interaction will take place, but if I were to go by what trends I see, I think this instrument that I hold in front of me is going to become a tool for my learning, a tool for my entertainment, a tool for my communication. Today we are all, our etiquette has developed so beautifully. We are able to kind of converse like this so easily. Earlier you had to have everybody in one room. I find it a lot more convenient, and we at Rustomjee, as a real estate residential larger developer, are actually promoting the work from home concept. We are modifying our homes, already existing homes, as well as future homes that we are developing, to become more convenient to allow the work from home space. So, it could go any which way. It could go just, in the center where you'd have equal amount of people wanting the flexibility of work from home, as well as, going to the office. I can tell you this: we aren't giving up a physical space of the office. We definitely believe it's important for the culture of the organization to keep meeting. Maybe these meetings won't take place as frequently, but they will be there. And at the same point of time, all our team members are being given the kind of right tools and, being brought to the right level of ability to be able to work from home. And I can tell you this: in a city like Mumbai, for sure, Charu, it takes away a lot of that dead time which you lose traveling. And sometimes it's not most complimentary, thankfully, or rather, no thanks to the kind of public transport infrastructure, or even private transport, which kind of just, takes you hours to trudge. So, there is merit in both sides, but we'll only know when the human spirit actually comes into full play, depending on how this whole thing really unpans itself.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Boman. I fully reckon with you that the world is in a stage of flux, and mental agility and toughness is the way forward as the world evolves and embraces the new normal. Thank you so much. Trying to draw Harleen into conversation. Harleen, this one is a little tough one, but coming with your experience. Residential, commercial, and retail, as three key asset classes, have contributed towards nearly 6% to India's GDP in 2017. Pre-COVID projections reflect sectoral contribution to increase to 13% to India's GDP by 2025. With shrinking FDI in construction developments, Indian commercial office sector witnessing a slowed momentum, rentals coming under pressure, and demand for flexible spaces on the rise. How realistic do you think these projections are?
Right. So Mohit, we heard two of experts, express their opinion. My colleague, ex-colleague Charu, and also Boman. there are very divergent views being expressed, about the future of real estate, both in India as well as globally. And, the concept or one strong opinion which is being, shared or expressed very profoundly is that work from home has come to stay now. And that's the reason that it's going to affect the commercial space going forward. So let me just, give you my opinion and my conviction, and with conviction and belief, strong belief that why I feel slightly and how I feel about it. So India, as such, when in 2019, when the environment was not as bullish, and we were, having a sentiment which was not very, very affluent and optimistic. In that scenario also in India, we did almost 47 million square feet of commercial leasing of office spaces. That's a big number. And if I to carry forward in 2020, post-pandemic, almost in the first 6 months, we have done almost 11 million square feet. And it's expected till June, and expected that we'll do another 10 million, 21 million. So that's one thing which fairly establishes, despite COVID, that the real estate, the demand for commercial, A-grade commercial real estate is there. And it's going to continue. On the other hand, the delivery or the supply side is suffering. So this is one aspect of it. The second is, what has also happened is that and in one of the reports, Edelweiss also said that in the last decade, what has happened is that space available per office employee, if you take, that has shrunk. That has shrunk by a good amount, and somewhere in that stats, it shows it has shrunk by almost 40-45%. So what that mean was the space planning per employee has been coming down over a period of last 10 years. Now with that COVID and, the restrictions and the requirements of COVID happening, that has to return back post-COVID. So that itself means that there will be inherent demand of that 40-45% loss because of the compression we have seen in the last 1 decade. So these are some signs, and this is what we deliberate, because we develop business parks, and we continue to, a couple of good amount of million is under construction, and we have really targeted now that we are going to develop almost 45 million in the next 5 to 7 years, at Tata Realty, and we are very, very convinced, and we are taking the first foot forward there with conviction, basis these points which I mentioned. So obviously, if this is the case, and if it is in majority in the country, then I see no reason the forecast which we have for our GDP 2024-25 should not be met. So this is our reasoning and opinion about that, Mohit.
Thank you so much. That sounds very, very promising. That definitely sounds very promising. And we all hope that that should be the road to recovery. And now trying to get Sandeep Sikri again. Sandeep, you've been designing so many mixed-use buildings. I'd like to understand from you, what is the mantra of a successful mixed-use building? How is the bifurcation of development decided, and who decides it? Sandeep Sikri.
Yeah, well, Mohit, I fully endorse and echo what Charu said and also Mr. Harleen said. Office space is an integral part of a growing economy. It's just a little bit of a time, but the office space demand will definitely spring up. In fact, I feel the developer, if he engages his efforts to create a new office premises, which will be complete after 2-3 years, it will have a lot of fantastic dividends, That's how I personally foresee. But yes, of course, the way it is happening in Western world, people may swap the offices. They would want to go into a more modern, more state-of-art facilities. So there will be a lot of pressure onto the office premises owner to ensure that they go with the time, keep upgrading their systems, keep upgrading their technology, keep upgrading their customer delight aspects, So that is also going to be a lot. You will see a lot of offices are getting renovated, what we call in our architectural language as an adaptive reuse, because technology is changing. They have to be COVID compliant. They have to be compliant with newer normals. But the demand supply situation, I think it will spring back. Probably it will take 6 months or a year. I do not know. I come from a designer's point of view. So the success mantra for any mixed use is to have an elaborate, detailed research and analysis. And that's where we actually depend on our clients like Tata Realty, Rustomjee, and also our real estate analysts and researchers like HAJELA. So I feel that particular aspect of having a design charrette, having a dialogue between people and the analyst and the designer and the developer needs to enhance. There's something called clinic, where we actually take the samples from the community, call them for the design charrette, have a word with them, see how they foresee, what are their demands, what are their comforts, what are their design discomforts. Because real estate in our country is very tough. You are doing something and then you are waiting for people to come and take it on lease or take it by it. So there's a huge risk that the developers, they carry. That can be de-risked by developing a dialogue. And I think that's very much possible. And every city would require a very stable, very well thought, inclusive master plan revision. Because you cannot just go with the flow and cannot just consuming FSI, and keep building and then wait for people to come. You need to have a strategy which could be divided over 2-year strategy, 5-year strategy, 10-year strategy, and you can actually drive the whole community living with your strategies. And I think that's quite possible. So as a designer, we always would like to advise and advocate with our clients to spend a lot of time before we take off with our design to have a proper studies for the design program and the design program strategies. And I'm sure this reset button will again bring us back to the same glory that we always enjoyed in a real estate and in a construction industry.
Thank you so much.
But in a nutshell, mixed use, whenever it is done carefully and appropriately, it's the future for the city and also tier 2 cities growth.
Yes, I quite agree. And I think if we look at inclusivity into the master plan, being made integral to master plan, I think that's going to, drive mixed use development to the next level. And that's the need of the hour. I can't agree more with you. Thank you so much, Architect Sandeep Sikri. I would like to get Vivek now quickly. Vivek, your body of work, the spectrum of your work is huge. You are working from mass affordable to mixed use development, from working within MMR to going to a lot of tier 2 and tier 3 cities. And so I think understanding that spread, what is the cultural impact on Indian society in mixed use development? And is there enough empathy for an end user?
Okay, well, Mohit, a good mixed use development has really a huge impact on the end user's lifestyle. So I will agree with Charu's first answer, where a large residential mixed use development, it can have a variety of affordable housing, smart homes, or maybe senior housing, so on and so forth. So this gives a stronger neighborhood character and sense of place, better access to, you can say, fresh and healthy food. If you have got a discount store or a supermarket nearby in your complex, that will always change your lifestyle. Then to live, shop, work in the same development has great time saving. And then that will give too much free time, and that will promote use of maybe pedestrian and bicycle travel. And it has got lifestyle implications. And of course, environmental advantages by reducing traffic on the road, and then noise and air pollution, everything is a byproduct. So I think overall, I believe there is this demand from the new generation for entertainment, restaurant at their doorstep. So all these are going to change the whole culture, So it's going to impact lifestyle a lot. And I'll just add one more point to what Sandeep said, that he rightly pointed out that the authorities or the decision maker or policy makers, they need to start this whole process of making a master plan. And even if I make 10 or 15 very good projects, like let's say Kohinoor Square in the city, unless they are properly connected with a public transport network, they will not serve the purpose. So you will find many such developments which are already there. Let's say Mindspace, you've got people working not only from the vicinity, 80% of the people are traveling from long distance to work there. That will not serve the purpose. So I think the policy makers need to make a whole master plan for the city to work it in a better way.
Surely, surely. Thank you. Thank you so much, Vivek. And carrying on the similar sentiment, I'd like to get Mr. Parvez Amin onto the center stage. Mr. Parvez Amin, how are the developments around Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities responding to technology adoption roadmaps? And do you foresee them to be growth drivers into real estate in immediate times to come? Mr. Parvez Amin,
Mohit, what happened sometime in March when the pandemic hit India full force, and in April it was all gloom and doom, a lot of pundits, business pundits, wrote off this year, 2021. Then in June, it surprised us big time. And we bounced back so fast. The Indian economy bounced back so fast post the lockdown, in spite of 18, 19 top cities still being in lockdown. And July was further better and August looks promising. Now, all this can be attributed to Tier 2, Tier 3 cities where there is no COVID incident as the way we have it in big metros. And the worrying factor now is that it is reaching there. So basically, Tier 2, Tier 3 consumption is good. The rural demand is picking up very, very, and we did very well. In fact, we are matching up last year's figures. Of course, the demand has come from replacement market. We are still, the project business, the builder segment still has to take off. And we hope that will not be too far away, because we're seeing a lot of top corporate developers now coming into Tier 2, Tier 3 town, which is a good sign. And good products coming in. So two things are happening. One is that it's fueling the demand. Second is also decongesting big cities. With technology coming in, you don't really need to be, I think I can echo the sentiment of earlier speakers were saying that, you know, with technology, you don't need to come into the big cities. You can, from your hometown, you can work. So I think it's very promising. India is a very diverse market, and I'm sure we will bounce back faster than expected.
Surely. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Parvez Amin. And with this, viewers, we come to the end of round 2. And since we are absolutely running out of time, I would request all the viewers, I hope you found the session very, very engaging. I think all the valued inputs that we received from the prolific experts as architects, top realtors, real estate advisory and consulting, and an industry expert for sure, must have enlightened you a lot in your overall understanding that how mixed-use development is there to stay, how it will mushroom further to the next level. And any queries, viewers, that you have, we would love to hear from you. And I've already requested all the esteemed panelists to respond to them within a fortnight at max. And looking forward to your responses, and looking forward to meeting you again. Thank you so much for all your time. I thank all the panelists for joining us today. It was absolutely wonderful, sir, to have all of you on board, and the time that you could, the valued patronage and time that you could give us for this session, and looking forward to more continuing engagement in the sphere of knowledge sharing. Thank you so much, and have a great evening.
Thanks for having us, Mohit. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good weekend. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Mohit. Look forward.
Thank you to all our eminent panel for the colossal knowledge shared this evening. A special thanks to our knowledge partners, Jaquar, Complete Bathroom and Lighting Solutions. We thank our audience that have shown support and tuned in this evening. Stay home, gear up for the new normal.